Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Let's talk about Betterment in 2026. Does it live up to the hype? What are the top features, the pros and cons? And is it really worth your attention where you can place your hard earned money? Now, if you are like me a few months ago, you might be asking yourself, who is this organization, anyways? So, I put together here some details. This organization was actually founded in 2008. So, it's been in business almost 2 decades. It's kind of hard to believe that 2008 was almost 20 years ago, and it was founded in New York. It provides checking, high yield savings, investing, and also provides some IRAs, individual retirement accounts. So let's get into the good, the bad, and the ugly about this organization. Now, with that being said, if we're just meeting, by the way, my name is Alex, and my goal with this channel is to help you build financial security and freedom through smarter, more confident decisions in your finances, your side business, and career. So, if you get value today, hit subscribe. And if the accounts or products I share with you in this video are for you, make sure that you sign up with the links in the description. They do support the channel and keep me motivated to keep making these helpful and insightful videos for you. So, with that being said, let's start with the basic checking features of this organization. And when it comes to placing my money somewhere, here are the things that I personally look at and that I think are also going to be very helpful to you. Now, a couple of the features here are, for example, early paycheck. A lot of fintechs and banks out there are providing early paycheck availability. So, what they do is, for example, let's say that you get paid on a Friday, they make your check available to you, let's say on a Wednesday. And that's becoming very almost like standard for many organizations out there. And unfortunately, that's one thing that Betterment doesn't offer yet. Now, another feature that this organization does not offer is actually interest rate on their checking account. Now, what I started noticing is that many neobanks or fintechs and modern banks, banks mainly, have started offering interest rate on their checking accounts. It's not that much. Sometimes it's like 0.5%, 0.05%. And unless it's a cash management account, then that turns into a maybe a little higher interest. So I think Betterment at some point it will get there, but it's not quite there yet. So far they don't offer early paycheck and they don't offer interest on their checking account. And I think those are key important details to know. Now, when it comes to, of course, safety, right? Like something that is like big in our minds. Hey, is my if I put my money in my checking, is it gonna be safe? They do have a partnership with MBKC Bank. They do provide you with up to $250,000 in your checking account. They also give you a debit card that you can access and take money out of your checking. Now, one really cool feature that I like about this organization is the ATM access and the network, right? So basically, what they do is they allow you to use any ATM out there and they reimburse your ATM fees, including foreign fees. So it's really cool. I think this should be provided more and more by some banks out there, and that's something really, really advantageous, especially if you're somebody that is always on the road, always traveling. Now, here's, of course, the screenshot from the website on the checking account itself, and no fees, safe and secure, and how they allow you to have, of course, the debit card. Now, with that being said, let's go into here's a screenshot from the website. And of course, here is how they allow you to have the withdrawals without the fees. Now, let's go into the savings features of this organization because that may have been one of the things that caught your eyes and the attention, right? So, as of December 2025, going into 2026, right now they're offering 3.25%. We're going to go into the details on whether or not these rates will be going down or up in the next couple of months. So, stay tuned. Now, they do have an account bonus of plus 60.65% APY with a qualifying deposit. So, that is if you're somebody that opens your account today and you have to be a new customer, then you get the 3.25% right off the bat. And if you make a qualifying deposit, then you get an extra 0.65%. So that will take you all the way up to 3.9%. And that makes it that much more appealing. So now let's talk about what makes Betterment better, for lack of a better word. And that is its saving features, which is perhaps one of the reasons why I started looking at this organization to begin with. So when it comes to interest rate and the API that they're going to pay you for your money, as of December, going into January 2026, they're offering 3.25%. So this rate right here, it's going to go most likely down based on what the Federal Reserve has been doing over the last couple of months. And so it's important to take advantage of these rates before they go down even lower. I'm going to get into those details here in a second. So stay tuned. When it comes to account bonus, so if you're somebody that is saying, hey, I want to leverage my relationship, a new relationship with an organization, what is the incentive? Is there something else that they give me so that I sign up with them? So currently they're offering a 0.65% on top of the base rate of 3.25%. So that would take you all the way up to 3.9% with a qualifying deposit. That's great. And they have no minimum deposit, no monthly fees. Of course, that means more money for you. And for their savings feature, they do have FDIC insurance up to $2 million per account per owner. Now, this feature right here of a high FDIC insurance has been becoming more popular over the last couple of years. A lot of banks are partnering with other FDIC banks, and as a conglomerate, they give you a higher FDIC insurance. And that's good, of course, if you have that much cash available to put in an organization. Now, with that being said, let's get into all the features that you need to know in order to make the best decision for yourself. So here's a screenshot of the current rate from Betterment. Here is the 0.65 additional if you are a new client. And by the way, that's for 3 months. And here's a couple of other things that may break or make your decision, right? So when it comes to account access, of course, you got the regular bank transfer, ACH transfer, ATM access. You can also access or send money, by the way, through Venmo and Cash App, which you will need a checking account to make this happen. And when it comes to making deposits, of course, you have the regular bank transfer, direct deposit, wire transfer, which, by the way, when I used to work at a bank, I used to see this wire transfer feature being used more by businesses, not so much personal accounts, but still, if you're somebody that you're interested in, then hey, they have it available. But the key is that they only allow you to have a wire transfer into your account, not so much outbound. So let's just keep that in mind. And of course, they also do allow you to have mobile checks and no cash deposits available. Now, when it comes to withdrawals, the withdrawals take about 2 to 3 business days, and they do allow you to have unlimited withdrawals from your savings account. And of course, that is very helpful in case you're somebody that accesses your account multiple times throughout the month when life just happens to happen, for lack of a better word. All right. So, overall, as I mentioned previously, they do have checking, high yield savings, investing, individual retirement accounts. With that said, here's something else that you need to know, and that is, hey, what are people out there saying? So when it comes to reviews from other websites out there, NerdWallet and Banker gave it a 4.2 and 5.0 respectively. I personally give it a 5.5 out of 5, and they do have customer service available. Certainly, I am somebody that values good customer service, and sometimes I call the bank at like 11 p.m., and it's just nice to talk to somebody that is helpful and super friendly when it comes to, hey, handling issues with your account. I don't like to talk to a machine or a bot. I don't think anybody likes to do that. So when somebody offers human interaction when it comes to dealing with issues or concerns about your account or questions, then I think actually has a lot of value. So here's the screenshots from NerdWallet and Bankrate. So now let's get into something that directly impacts your pocket, and that is, hey, how long will these high yield savings accounts stay high when it comes to their interest rate? So the Fed over the last couple of months has been decreasing interest rates, and of course that is impacting high yield savings accounts directly. It impacts mortgages, it impacts loans. So it's great for loans because then the interest rate to borrow is lower. But when it comes to high yield savings, then the interest gets lower. But that's okay, right? Like, I mean, it is what it is. It's just part of nature. And we just got to take advantage of these accounts for as long as we can, and then just focus on what we can control. Now, something else that you need to know to give you some peace of mind is, hey, what happens if Betterment fails? How do I get my money back? Now, overall, because Betterment is a fintech, so Betterment has partnerships with banks, and Betterment does not hold your cash, right? The one that holds your cash, it's actually the banks that are in partnership with Betterment. So, to give you here perspective, if a bank fails, it will usually be bought by another organization and your account will just transfer. But if no one buys the bank, then the FDIC will step in and write you a check within a couple of business days. Now, if Betterment fails, that means the bank did not fail. And in that case, then the process will take just a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, you'll still get your money, right? So I just want to make that clear, and I'm saying this because some time ago, you may or may not have heard that Yada is another fintech that ran into some issues with one of its partnerships. And at the end of the day, people were locked out of their accounts. They couldn't access their money. They were behind on their mortgages. They had to get in debt. So naturally, people were in a frenzy because they may have thought, hey, I'm not getting my money back. But just as long as the bank doesn't fail, then you'll get your money back. And even if the bank fails, as long as you are within the FDIC insurance thresholds, then you will get your money back. Now, with that being said, one last question here that is going to directly impact your money in your pocket is, hey, Do I have to pay taxes on my high yield savings and the interest I earn? Yes, you have to pay taxes. It is unfortunate, but that's just the nature of the beast. Death and taxes, right? Two certain things about life. So at the end of the year, you are going to get a 1099 INT. It's super simple to file. Give it to your accountant or file it yourself. It only takes a couple of moves in a couple of seconds. Okay, so with all that said, let's talk about the pros and cons of Betterment. And Betterment does provide great competitive APY. It doesn't have no minimum deposit and the monthly fees. Also, they give you an ATM reimbursement, which I really do like a lot. The FDIC insurance, 2 million for savings, and also they give you investing options and many other features and services. Now, when it comes to cons, now this may or may not be a con depending on what you are looking for. So it is a very basic financial hub. I want to say it does have limited options for investing. And one thing that I noticed when I was doing research for this video is that Betterment doesn't give you in depth tools like, for example, Fidelity or Schwab. I mean, those types of organizations are extremely well established. They are giants in the financial space. And so they give you a lot of analytics, a lot of tools for research and projections, and like all this stuff, right? So the way I personally see it, if you're somebody that is a beginner investor and you want to get into maybe dipping your toes in the stock market, then Betterment could be a good option to get started with. And they also have no branch access, they're fully online. And they also remember that they are a fintech. And one last thing to mention here before we go into the bottom line is when evaluating reviews, focus on relevancy, timeliness, and no retaliation to gain actionable insights without amplifying toxicity. Now, if you're not leaning towards Betterment, here are a couple of other options for you. SoFi, who's offering up to 4.0% with a $300 bonus, and also Barclays at 3.85% right now as of the making of this video. Now, there's going to be links in the description to learn more about this. Now, would I recommend Betterment to my mom? I want to say Betterment is a good option if you're looking for a basic checking and savings with a decent APY. Also, if you want to do some beginner investing, and if you're comfortable also with the fintech modern banking process, as I outlined previously. Now, it may not be for you if you are looking for a bank with physical locations. Maybe you're looking for the highest available APY, a high cash bonus. Maybe you're looking for more versatility, flexibility when it comes to investing. So if you're somebody that is maybe intermediate or advanced investor, then Betterment may not have the best tools to support that type of financial needs. So is Betterment for you? Let me know in the comments. If it's not, check SoFi and Barclays for higher interest and bonuses available. I'm going to link them in the description of this video. And one thing that we can all agree on is that optimizing your savings and investments is smart, but many of you watching this video are also trying to build a side business for real diversification and freedom. Now, personally, the bottleneck I lived for years wasn't that I didn't know what to do. It was actually chronic overthinking and the inability to commit to one direction without pivoting forever. So, if you're somebody that is in this same loop right now with multiple ideas, half built projects, watching time slip by despite knowing that you're capable, I need to speak with you. So, click the link in the description to book a free strategy call. We're going to go over your biggest challenges, your execution blocks, and I know how exhausting this feels. So, book a call today. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace.